Welcome back, NoDQ Galaxy, to a brand new edition of the NoDQ Review, number 233. I am Virtue, being joined by this week's smaller elite panel of the NoDQ Review. Of course, Aaron Rift is here, Jeff Meacham, and happy to be here, Big G. Big G, ballin' Big G. What's up, gentlemen? Big G, what's up?
I'm doing pretty good. Starting a new job here in the next couple weeks, so that's good. Going to AEW in Baltimore in May, so that's also good. So turning 35 this coming week, another day, another year, so that'll be fun. But like I said, I'm always happy to be here, ready to talk some wrestling. So let's get this ball rolling.
We're here. We got our big topics. We're going to talk some CM Punk tonight. Boy, does he just make some people mad. I can't wait to talk about him. Jeff Meacham, what's up?
Well, in the category of if you enjoy this stuff with Jeff Meacham, you can also enjoy what's going on right now over on the multiverse of media. Aaron, please, if I may. Right now, we've actually just ended the pre-show, or whatever they're calling it, countdown to Rebellion. We're covering Rebellion tonight. Noah and James are on the call. I'll be joining them after we're done here, but I wanted to talk about the topics that Aaron put up today. So if you guys are interested, you can check out the Rebellion watch along after we're done here on NoDQ. So check it out over at my channel, James's channel, JD's channel, and Noah's channel. So.
All right, and we'll be back to you shortly, Jeff, of course.
Oh, yes.
And, the length of these shows, obviously you see I cut it down to 4 this week. And the topics, but the super chats, the NoDQ Galaxy, right. They can really make these shows go a long time when they keep chatting those super chats. I have no control over that. All I can control is this panel right here and the topics we talk about.
Yes.
But we'll see how it goes tonight. Aaron Rift, what's up?
I'm doing pretty good. Looking forward to tonight's panel. And Jeff, I had no idea that Impact Wrestling had a pay-per-view tonight, so thank you for letting me know about that.
I think that's Noah and James's desire. They want to make sure people still remember Impact has actually decent wrestling. Storylines, whatever, but the in-ring work is still very solid. So, like we were touting a few years ago with the women of wrestling, give them a chance. Oh, wow, that looks like shit now. Okay, never mind. Just give Impact a chance. I still think the in-ring work is good, even if the storylines are very much Scott Demorge. It is what it is.
Okay.
All right. We do have a few super chats here already. Psycho Jet Black sent in $2. He says, when is the artist Jeff going to debut his art?
I don't understand what that means.
Maybe it's the hat. Maybe he thinks he look like an artist.
Oh, I'm trying out anything but baseball caps. People keep telling me I look better in the newsboy and the scally caps, so I'm going with them for a while.
All right. Well, he thinks you're an artist, so he thinks you're high society. He thinks you're a man of intellect. There you go.
Lord knows I've been a starving artist for 20 plus years with these podcasts, so why not?
There you go. Mr. Tito sent in a $2 super chat. Little plug for his column.
Yes.
Read his column exclusive to NoDQ. And he talked about the Young Bucks and thinks maybe they should either be demoted or fired or whatever. So read that. It's a hot take. I've seen some people on Twitter not liking it. And boy, oh boy, people on Twitter have been quite vocal lately. We cannot even debate fictional wrestling characters anymore. I posted about MJF and Dominic. Is Dominic reaching the level of MJF as a heel? And people are mad. They're like, this just spreads negativity and hate. Well, people like to debate stuff. People debate politics. People debate movies. People debate TV shows, music, you name it. People debate art, all different forms of art. It's been around since the beginning of time. Jeff?
We need MJF and somebody to debate the MJF Dominic debate, because Max commented himself and was all over it. So we need MJF versus somebody to debate the virtues of the Dominic character.
Well, I know MJF appreciates the hustle. He appreciates the clickbait. And
he does.
Psycho Jet Black says, wasn't there an MJF NoDQ tweet that got deleted? I was not aware that it was deleted, but yeah, let me know if he did delete it.
I'd be surprised if he did, because he usually just doesn't give a shit. So
he actually does delete things every now and then. I've seen him delete.
Not from us though. So
yeah, not from us.
Not to us.
Let's get right into it. Virtue, I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay. Well, a lot of these, basically all of our show tonight is going to be about returns, potential returns, departures. So let's talk about Drew McIntyre first. Look, I hate when these dirt sheets think they have the beat on it. He's not happy or this or that. His Twitter went black. Look, I'm sure Drew McIntyre is working out whatever he's working out for his next contract. I'm 90% sure or higher. It's going to be with WWE, but these wrestlers like to have fun. And hey, how do you get people talking about you? You do something on social media, like go dark on Twitter, where people think you might be leaving or whatever. And look, some of these wrestlers can try to do it to negotiate their contracts. WWE is a business. They're not going to use that kind of crap. They're going to pay Drew what they want to pay him. I'm sure he'll be back in WWE. I can't see him because he left WWE, right? And he came back, did the NXT thing. Triple H is a head of creative now, and he brought Drew McIntyre back. I'm pretty sure Drew's staying in WWE. Maybe he's working out that deal. Maybe he wants a sweeter deal like Roman, more dates off. What do you gentlemen think here? When I see Drew McIntyre, I would be very shocked if he leaves WWE, considering when a lot of wrestlers do leave WWE. I mean, what are your options? AEW to get maybe paid close to what WWE pays you. And we've seen what happened to a lot of wrestlers there at Miro, right? So, Jeff Meacham, what do you think right here? I think once McIntyre comes back on Twitter, we know he's still in WWE. This all goes away. What do you think?
Well, Aaron can vouch for this, having met and interacted with my father over the years. My dad has been a man of his word, and he said if the Undertaker streak ended in 2014, he would stop being a full-time viewer of wrestling. And he has. He stuck to his word. He's been one of the few retirements of wrestling that actually stuck. He just does not watch on a regular basis. He'll watch occasionally, if something piques his interest, but most of that, he's done with that. He told me in the car on the way over here today, he goes, if they lose Drew, they're going to lose a viewer for a while again. I said, wow, that's how much my dad likes Drew. I don't see where WWE would want Drew McIntyre to, leave. He's a great talent. He's got a look of a superstar. He's got that, that big build that, Vince and Triple H both like. He's got the buzz. He went away and came back and built himself back up. But yeah, Tito makes a great point. When it comes down to it, his charisma, I'm going to use the words I get. The charisma personality is just not there for Drew. He doesn't have that it factor. He's entertaining, but he's not the complete package of entertainment. He doesn't have a whole lot of solid promo ability that I see. He never really has, for my money. They had the moment with him. They really did. They had the chance in Wales. They brought back his theme song, which popped everybody like crazy, and they didn't deliver the title change because they're going with Roman, which I agreed with them going with Roman, for the record. So I don't know where WWE would, find a way to change that lack of promo skills, and where does Drew go? Does AEW really think that he's going to be that guy to get him over that $1 million, 1 million viewers? No. So what are his options? Go back to Impact at Rebellion tonight? Might as well.
And look, Jeff, I think he's happy in WWE. I mean, did he not win? Pandemic year aside, right? He still won the Royal Rumble, correct?
Yep.
Did he not win the Performance Center WrestleMania? Didn't he win the title there?
He won the championship in the main event of WrestleMania. That's the sentence.
The history books. Yeah, they didn't have to do that. I think he stays. I think he's happy there. Could he be negotiated? Again, I think the negotiation is not really necessarily about the money. I think it's about the working days. I mean, look at what Roman and Brock do. Drew might want a little bit more time off. I don't know.
But Drew McIntyre is not Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns.
Yes, Aaron.
Well, Virtue, you mentioned that he won the title at WrestleMania 36, but is that a high-rated WrestleMania? Like, what tier, from S tier to D tier, would you put WrestleMania 36?
It doesn't matter. He won it at a WrestleMania, right? Now, if there was no pandemic in the WrestleMania, if it happened in Tampa like it was supposed to, would he have still went over? We don't know that, right? We can assume that's what would have happened, but he still got booked. They don't just do that to anybody, Aaron. He still got booked to go over. I'm not saying
over Brock at that.
I'm not saying Drew's this draw. I'm saying he's probably happy to stay there because at least they gave him that. At least they let him work with his friends like Sheamus. How can he be mad about working there because he's not in Roman Reigns' spot? He knows, like, you're not going to go to AEW and get that spot. It's clear now to any wrestler who would leave WWE. You don't just go to, unless you're CM Punk, and look how that worked out, and we're going to talk about that later. You don't just go to AEW to get the main event spot. Drew ain't going anywhere. I'd be shocked.
I don't think he is either, but just
I'm not saying he's his big draw. I just say he's going to stay.
But you made a good point. The freaking dirt sheets love that we're talking about it, and they love stirring up the shit.
Workhorse type guy.
Yeah.
WWE likes to have those workhorse type guys. You need those guys there, right? All right, Big G, thoughts here.
Yeah, I mean, I like Drew McIntyre. You talked about it. You mentioned it about the pandemic era. I mean, he still won the WWE title. He beat Brock Lesnar, and then he defended it against the Big Show that same night, which is really weird. But yeah, Drew McIntyre, I don't think he's going anywhere, to be honest. He's had a good run in WWE. We all know he got featured endeavored back in like 2010 because he wasn't in the right place at the right time. He was still young, still partying, doing all this stuff, and then came back in NXT, did his thing in NXT, came up to Raw, did his thing, and he's back in WWE. And after he had left WWE the first time, he built himself up in the Indies to prove to WWE that he belongs in WWE. And like you said, he's got his friends there, he's got Sheamus there, he's got his buddies there. So I don't think he's leaving anytime soon. And I think, I don't know, he might be dealing with a nagging injury right now or something. Who knows why he hasn't been on TV the past couple of weeks? Could be because of his negotiating his contract as well. So we'll see. But every time Drew McIntyre comes out, he gets a decent pop. Like Jeff said at Wales when they played his old theme song, he got a pop for it too. And yeah, he might not have the charisma and personality, but now I want to say, now in the wrestling business, you don't have to have the complete package to be a big time performer. And yeah, he might not be a Roman Reigns level right now, but we know Drew McIntyre can hold his own in WWE. Or if he isn't happy in WWE for hypothetical reasons, he goes to AEW. Is he gonna get the Miro treatment, or is he gonna get the CM Punk treatment, where he's like this big megastar? So we'll see.
I think maybe he's gonna be a heel soon. Maybe that's what.
Well, that's who
this could be good. And yeah,
he does need a carrot. He does need to, if he does come back, he does need to a refresh. Turn heel again, and maybe feud with Sheamus, because Sheamus is a babyface now.
Why can't we turn Sheamus and Drew heel as a tag team and have them go against?
You could do that, yeah.
Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I mean, there's a.
But then you
got a great tag team feud right there, right in the making. Yeah. I don't know. All right, thank you, Big G. Aaron, over to you on Drew McIntyre. I mean, he started in WWE. He was Vince's chosen one, Intercontinental Champion, left, came back, had the whole 3MB thing, right? Got released, came back again, and he's still persevered. And to me, he has a pretty good, solid WWE career. I'm not saying he's a super all-time main event legend, but I think he wants to build on his WWE career. Like, hey, I want to be a Hall of Famer. And I think him staying there is the smartest business decision. I don't know. What do you think, Aaron?
I think there's a lot of possibilities for him in WWE as a heel, like you said. And that's where I feel this is all going. Let's clear up something. His contract is not up for a while. It's reportedly not ending until 2024. There's still time. That's like over 6 months before his contract expires. And remember when people were talking about how Kevin Owens was going to leave WWE, and turns out he signed a new deal and main evented WrestleMania twice. So there you go. I think that Drew McIntyre is probably just taking some time off because, well, he's beat up. He's gotten sick. That's been publicly made aware of. People know about it. And I think that the whole blacking out his Twitter thing, my opinion, it's a work. You've seen numerous people do this over the years. I think Seth Rollins did it at one point. A lot of people did this gimmick of blacking out their Twitter, and then they end up back on TV, and it's part of some kind of character change. And I think that's what's going on here. My prediction is Drew McIntyre is going to go over to Monday Night Raw, turn heel, and whenever Cody does get the title, I still think it's going to be Cody beating Roman. I think Drew will be a top challenger for Cody Rhodes as a heel going for that world championship. That's what I think is going to happen. We do have a few super chats here. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says, imagine Corbin trying to negotiate for more money. What do you think about that, Jeff? You think that Corbin could get a big renewal on his contract?
I don't think Drew's been booked nearly as shitty as Corbin's been, so I think that's a pretty baseless comparison that Psycho's making there.
But let's look at this, Jeff. Wasn't there a period in time where Dolph Ziggler got a big contract, and he's just one of those bodies, like those, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So any wrestler is valuable in their own weird way to a company like this.
Right.
Doesn't have to. It could be a Dolph Ziggler, a Baron Corbin, a Drew McIntyre, or Reigns and Lesnar. They can all negotiate for more than what they would get paid. You know, it's just a weird business the way the wrestlers get paid today versus how they used to get paid. It's guaranteed now.
Well, it's guaranteed, and it's, you're always going to value yourself more than anybody else is going to, because that's just the way you should be as a human being. But you also want your employer, whoever you're working for, whether it's WWE or Disney or whatever, you want your employer to think that you're worth what you think you're worth on the pay scale side of things. And if you believe the dirt sheet nonsense, Drew's not getting paid what he feels he should be compensated. And going back to the Corbin thing, you book Corbin the right way before Money in the Bank, when he won and then had the worst cash in history, it doesn't go near as south, at least not as quickly as it did. And he's been booked like crap ever since. McIntyre, since he came back, has been booked, with the exception of a couple of hiccups, much better than Corbin has by leaps and bounds. So that's what I was saying there. But yeah, Ziggler signed that contract, got paid very well, and he's basically a utility player guy now. So
yep. Aaron?
We do have some more super chats. Let's get to those. Walter Cruz sent in a $5 super chat. Big Baller Walter says, Drew McIntyre is coming back, and probably with his old theme song, and say yes to NoDQ and share this video. Feel merchy. # stick to my shtick. Also, put up the Big G pic. Well, we're going to get this Jeff Jarrett picture more than once, it looks like, tonight. There it is. Yeah. Jeff Jarrett making his debut
just in case, I like
AEW.
So there might be some talks with Jeff Jarrett and Parker Kane Promotions for September.
Ooh.
I'll tell you what, if we can get the photo op, Big G and Jeff Jarrett, that might just
I know. I
want the guitar in the shot too.
That's right.
Yeah.
Guitar and everything.
That will be the greatest picture in the history of NoDQ.
Are you sitting in camera view in Baltimore in a couple weeks?
No, I'm on the other side.
Okay.
You got to find a way to get yourself on TV when Jeff Jarrett comes out there. You have to bring a sign, because they look for the signs. Bring a sign saying Jeff Jarrett's biggest fan. I'm telling you, if you can get it, get the attention of the camera.
I'm gonna make it.
If you hold it up,
NoDQ told me to do this.
Well, don't put that.
I'm gonna make it.
You could get on TV, and I will screenshot that, and that will be the greatest moment ever.
That'll be the greatest moment in the history of our great sport, right, Tony Schiavone? Anyway.
Exactly. Okay, we got some more super chats here, so thank you for that, Walter.
She's trying to get through this damn show.
I know. Well,
we're doing all right.
These are a few little side topics here. I guess everybody could just answer with a straight up yes or no. Sean Garner sent in a $2 super chat, says, do the Usos win back the tag team titles in 2 weeks?
Yep.
I think they probably are, but I hope not.
The only reason why I say yes is because of them going to Saudi.
Yep, exactly. Because Sammy ain't going over there, that's for damn sure.
The WrestleMania pop, the WrestleMania Night 1 pop already happened. It's over.
Yep.
I'm going to also say yes. And the bloodline back to stronger than ever. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
False sense of security virtue. They get the bloodline all back and everything's good, and then come Money in the Bank, it's like, just kidding. So
right. Walter Cruz sent in a $2 super chat. Says, "How in the hell is Jinder Mahal still employed?" I think that Jinder must be a guy that they see value in. That's all I can think. What do you think?
They need somebody for WWE India. I don't know.
He's a house show body. He's a one you need somebody to get beat on SmackDown or Raw or wherever he's at. He's
NXT right now.
He looks like a Vince McMahon type guy. That's why he's employed there. I mean,
oh my God, Global Force Wrestling is great.
Don't do that. Just bring.
Oh, please do that. Please do that now. That'd be the greatest thing in the history of the world because Jared will get so mad. It'll be so funny.
Well, that's even if that's. I'll make a sign if Jared's booked for.
I really think deep down inside, Jeff Jarrett thought Global Force was going to become something like AEW became, and it just.
Well, now, Big G, you know what's sad? You'll go through all the effort to make that sign, and then he won't even be on the show.
Yeah, I know, right?
Right.
But you gotta try. Maybe he'll get a renewed push over the next few weeks, and it'll be a nice opportunity.
Even if he's not on TBS or TNT, he'll be on the YouTube shows.
Yeah,
that's true. Anyways, Virtue, we're caught up. Let's move on. We'll probably see that picture again before the night's
over. Will be coming up to some CM Punk chat here shortly, NoDQ Galaxy. So for those of you just tuning in, stay tuned. But in the meantime, let's talk a little bit about Jeff Hardy, who is still in the wrestling business, right? We all know his past with drugs and alcohol and the fact that he's maybe a little bit too old to be doing the crazy stuff in the ring anymore. But yet that is Jeff Hardy. So when he's back, you almost know that's how he has to be. Now, this is the problem. I don't have a problem with Jeff Hardy coming back and working. I do want him to stay clean, right? Don't drink and drive. All that good stuff. We could say the same about many other wrestlers. So, right, that's an easy thing to think about. Hopefully he stays well there. But let's talk about the wrestling aspect of it. When wrestlers get older, especially when they do what Jeff Hardy does for his matches, you don't want to see them get hurt. You don't want to see them do something they shouldn't. I know there are fans out there saying, hey, Jeff's back, but maybe he shouldn't be because of that very reason. But I'm not going to do the age discrimination thing. If he's in AEW and AEW fans expect all that AEW crap out of their wrestlers, Jeff Hardy can come back and do whatever the F he wants. And if it's swantons, onto steel stairs or whatever, that's Jeff Hardy. I don't have a problem with it. As long as this man stays clean and sober, he can come back and do whatever he wants. He has earned that. He's in the place where wrestlers do whatever they want. Why should it be different for him, Big G?
I mean, I'm a big Hardy fan. I bleed the Hardys. But Jeff coming back, we know he's had so many chances in WWE, in TNA, and now AEW, and it's all come down to his drinking and doing drugs and stuff like that through all the years that he's been wrestling and all the high flying moves he's done and stuff like that. But when it comes to his in-ring wrestling, he can always tone it down. Matt has toned down his style of wrestling too. Anybody can turn down their style of wrestling. I mean, yeah, he can do his swanton stuff and his big spots here and there, but he doesn't need to be jumping off of ladders anymore. Or if he does, have it in a match that actually means something. Not on a match on Dynamite against Darby Allin. Not saying that was a bad match or anything like that, but he needs to tone his wrestling down. And like you said, he needs to stay clean and sober. I know he's got a family still. We don't know how their personal lives are behind the doors for the most part, So, I mean, I'm happy that Jeff's back. Hopefully hopefully he stays clean and healthy, because I'm sure Tony is giving him like a 3-strike rule, maybe a 2-strike rule. Who knows? So we'll see. We'll see how things go. I know he just had eye surgery recently, so I'm sure he's not going to be wrestling for a little bit. So.
Thanks, Big G. Jeff, would it not be like, I like to get creative, and like if somebody like coming back like Hardy, I'd love to see him be just a dick heel at this point in his career and come out and just make everything basic to F. Like, no, you want to see the swanton, and he gets up there to do it, but then he just jumps down and flicks the fans off. and then does something basic. I mean, I'd love to see Jeff get creative with something like this. But again, it's in his DNA to be the Jeff Hardy we always know. So I don't know if that could ever happen. Like, it'd be like telling Rey Mysterio to not be Rey Mysterio. What do you think, Jeff?
Yeah, I don't know if I don't think Matt or Jeff would have entertained the idea of Jeff coming back to television if he wasn't ready to go and, gave his word that he would, stay on the straight and narrow, as it were. So I think that'll be heavily monitored by the Hardys and, by whatever talent relations person they assign to him. Probably Chris Daniels, because, Daniels is that guy for AEW. But yeah, I would like to see kind of Jeff, play up to the, he has to control his demons, so he has to, tone down the style. Or, like it's going on in the chat room, they don't have to have him on every single week, every single show doing matches. He's very talented, cutting promos. He knows what he's doing there. So have him be like a I don't want to say Andre, because Andre was once in a lifetime attraction.
Jeff,
but,
what I meant, like, if he did that whole thing where he worked differently,
right,
like Jake the Snake Roberts from the 80s and 90s, that style. Like, you know what I mean? Jake was very smart in how he worked.
Yeah. I wouldn't say use, like doing all the Daredevil stuff. And if you are going to do the Daredevil stuff consistently in your matches still, don't have him wrestle every week. That's, like I said, Jeff and Matt Hardy at this point of their careers don't need to be on TBS or TNT every single freaking week. That's just ridiculous at this point. They're getting paid the same amount of money either way. They're not, there's no, incentives or upsides, for wrestling more. That's not, as far as I know, the contracts aren't structured that way. So I just think that, Jeff Hardy needs to be treated not with kid gloves, because he's a grown man and he needs to be able to own his own shit. But at the same time, he needs to realize where that limit is and not be freaking Team Extreme doing shit on the tables anymore.
I mean, we are getting the firm deletion at the Hardy compound, so.
Which, again, the thing at the Hardy compound, that can be contained and it can be filmed and, stopped, like the cinematic matches they've had with WWE, where, God, Taker almost freaking Goldberged his arm. It's like, okay, hang on. Clean that shit up and good to go. Something like that happens, they're fine. But if they're doing if they're doing something live, they've got to keep it basic, or he's going to be right back where he was.
Yep. Good points. All right, Aaron, over to you.
I really don't have much to add to it. I think you guys pretty much summed it up nicely. I think that I stand by what I've said before. I do not think that he should be wrestling anymore, period. Yep. I think that he has nothing to prove. But if he's insistent on doing it and he thinks he can pull it off, and the people around him think he can pull it off, and they're checking in on him and they're monitoring him, it could work. Maybe a full-time, well, not a full-time, maybe a part-time schedule with the occasional match, and he's not taking as many bumps. Perhaps it'll work out for him, and I sure hope it does. Yeah, I'm really hoping there's not another.
How old is Jeff Hardy? Anybody know?
They're like in their early 40s, I want to say.
I don't think early. It'd be like
late 40s. I know they did meant like
45.
45. Okay.
Yeah,
45 will be
46
in August.
He's CM Punk's age.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
77 babies, just like Step Boy.
Yeah. I know the Hardys won one last title run.
The miles on Hardy's body because of what he did is a lot more than a lot of the other wrestlers his age. So
you know what though? Yes, I wonder if the mental miles on Punk.
That is Bobby Heenan on that shirt behind me.
Nice. That's great. I love it.
So Aaron, that was it. Pretty much wrap that one up. Move on, Jeff.
I think that maybe a cinematic match every now and then would be a nice idea. He's a nostalgia act. I saw somebody mention a heel turn, but people want to hear the old Hardy music. But the thing is, they want to see the Swanton Bomb. They want to see the Twist of Fate. So they got to be really selective about it and not use him that much. And time will tell. I mean, I am nervous about it, but we'll see what happens. And maybe he can go off in the sunset on a high note, and him and Matt can have a few more big matches, and then he can call it a career. And then that'll be it. But we'll see. It's hard
just crazy. It's crazy. Like different wrestlers at different ages, we want more and more. But like Jeff Hardy people are saying less and less already. When did Hogan become heel in NWO? How old was he, Jeff? 45? Like, you know what I mean? Like, just somewhere around there. Isn't that just crazy?
40, like 43, 44, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but the different styles of wrestling too.
So no, exactly.
Yeah.
Hogan.
Well, loads different. Yeah.
Like, look what Hogan did in Japan. He wasn't that way in the States. He worked smart. He did the whole gimmick. He didn't have to wrestle great matches. But nonetheless, are we ready to move on?
Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says he would rather eat Hardee's than watch Jeff Hardy. I like Hardee's. Why you knocking into Carl's Jr. like that?
I don't know, man. Carl's Jr. Hardee's expensive, Aaron. They've gotten really expensive since you left California. So.
See,
well, everything's
that's the
expensive.
Yeah, but not like not that level. Like the other fast foods are way better.
When the Hardys are inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame that night, everybody that says they don't, they're gonna just be loving it, living the memories. Like, I don't know.
Anyways, we're caught up now.
They're legends. Okay, for the rest of this show, we are going to talk none other than CM Punk. We're not even talking about Roman Reigns right now, right? He's doing his thing. We'll be lucky to see him defend his title again in Saudi Arabia. But we are going to talk about CM Punk because I feel he's got to be 100% by now from his injury. And we hear all this scuttlebutt, these different wrestlers, some sticking up for CM Punk, others that bash him. And I keep saying this again. You know, when he was in WWE in the main event run that he had, he worked with John Cena, Triple H, Undertaker, Brock Lesnar, The Rock. Those guys don't just work with anybody. Cena's proven that over the year. They don't just work with anybody. And if CM Punk was a locker room cancer, he would have not even sniffed all those legends during that few-year run that he was on top in WWE. Okay, so he might be outspoken. He might have went out of context a little bit with what he did at the scrum. But I'm telling you, if he did that right then and there and jeopardized everything in the AEW bubble, it's because let's point the finger also at the other people, the elite, the EVPs, wrestlers being in charge. It's not a great combination. This guy needs to come back. Aaron, I remember seeing in one of our private chats in 2011 and 2021, let's think about what years those were in wrestling. Aaron basically said, and if I'm wrong on this, Aaron, correct me, those might have been your busiest years in the history of NoDQ, at least during portions of those years. What's the common denominator, people?
Yeah.
CM Punk is a must on your wrestling show, okay? And if you have turmoil, make people be adults in the room, make them work together, and put that product out in front of the fans and make money off of it. Because back in the day when wrestlers argued, somehow Brett and Shawn worked together on screen as much as they hated each other. So who wants to? Big G, I'm going to come to you first so you can't retort what we all say.
Yeah.
CM Punk is a must on any wrestling show. And the fact when you went to Chicago, you drove all that way from the East Coast all the way to Chicago just to go to an event that you thought he was supposed to debut at. And he did. And it did over like 1.1 million. His average ratings, the shows he was on, I think were close to more than anything AEW does now. And the $1 million gates never started happening until Punk was involved. I'm not saying that he's a mega John Cena, Rock Austin draw, but he is something, and AEW needs it. And Tony Khan is either going to have the biggest fumble in the history of wrestling with this, or he has a chance to redeem himself. So I hope they can work it out. What is your thoughts here? And I know the chat is going to go crazy.
Go ahead. Yeah, like you just said, I went to that show in Chicago on Rampage just on a whim that CM Punk was going to be there, and he showed up, and like the place went nuts, berserk. I think I have a video out there somewhere in Twitter land, but CM Punk, the wrestler, he's great in ring. His promo skills are awesome. I don't know how Phil is outside of the ring, in his personal life. I've never met that guy. You just read what the dirt sheets say, and sometimes we people believe what they say. Sometimes they don't believe what they say. So, I mean, this whole thing with the Elite, we've talked about this a plethora of times. They could turn this into a major storyline. They got All In at Wembley Stadium. The biggest draw for that show would be Kenny Omega versus CM Punk. And I think AEW is coming out with another show on Saturday nights now, if I'm correct. And, CM Punk might be the main attraction for that show. And then, Dynamite's coming to Chicago in July or June. I can't remember what month it was. So June. He could show up then. He could show up, and he could pretty much. I'm sure Chicago would be the place to show up because I know he's in Chicago. So, why not have CM Punk return? Like I said, he's great in the ring. He's great on the skills, mic. And if he comes back, I have him as a heel. When he came back, we had talked about how like it was like nostalgia CM Punk, and. He needs a change of pace in AEW when he comes back because I know he's ready to come back, and it just comes down to and Tony Khan just needs to grow a set of balls and do the right thing. So.
And look, I'm not talking about let's bring him back and have him on this one show with this roster or anybody that doesn't like him doesn't. Right. Like, no. You bring a wrestler back. They're professional. The word in front of wrestling. They're professional because they get paid for it, and you're supposed to go out there and make it happen whether you like each other or not, and that's the boss's job. Vince McMahon has made that happen countless times over the years. Tony Khan, if you want to be a legendary wrestling promotion, I want to see you bring CM Punk back and make him face the Elite on your pay-per-views when you're trying to do stadiums. Then I will finally give you a round of applause for being a legit wrestling promoter because that's what they do. That's what Vince McMahon does and has done.
Yeah. There you
Big
go.
G, anything else you want to add? Everyone.
No, I'm good. I said my piece.
Jeff, you ready?
I guess. So, okay. I said when it happened that I'm not a fan of any of these people. I'm not like Punk. And the way he's been since he came back, as far as, the whole, I wasn't going to get better, in the same place I got sick. It's like, you've been a dick since you came back, Phil, but okay, sure. And the Elite, I've met Kenny once, literally once, and that was the night he became PWG champion. That was in 2009. Don't know how Kenny is now. Every time I ever dealt with the Bucks in a professional environment, it was fine. I never had crosswords with them that I remember. But I'm just not a fan of the way this whole thing has played out. I think there were way too many people acting like children and being butthurt over, stupid shit. And yeah, you guys are right. If Tony wants to earn these Booker of the Year awards that freaking Big Dave's been giving him every year for the last how many years now, he needs to find a way to make this work. Because Virtue, you mentioned 2010, 2011. CM Punk sitting on a stage with a microphone in his hand in the middle of an arena in Las Vegas crashed NoDQ with me and JJ and Statboy and our other buddies in the stadium and arena going, what just happened here? That's what Punk can do.
And he did it on the mic. And what did he proceed to do, Jeff? All the mic work during that whole run.
Yep.
Most of his matches against all those big names I mentioned earlier, they were all really good. They were all he gave some of those guys their best matches during those years that he wrestled them.
Yeah,
he's not bad. Like he may not be like the perfect, most fluid guy in the ring, but he gave all of those guys really good to great matches.
Yeah,
like you can't argue. Nobody can argue that.
People are gonna, get mad at me for saying this and that. I really don't give a shit after all these years of doing it, so it didn't matter to me. But I think he's perfectly justified in being upset at not getting a WrestleMania main event when he was the top guy. Because like I said, he is the only, as far as I know, Aaron, I could be wrong because I've been with you a long time and we're both getting old and I get feeble-minded and shit. But I think it's the only time the server has crashed during a live show ever in NoDQ history.
It happened at Money in the Bank also when it was Cena versus Punk.
Okay, so either way, he is the only person in almost 25 years. No. Yeah, almost 25 years of no DQ to completely crash the site.
Yep, twice.
And that's just the facts. It really is. And I wouldn't be surprised if it happens again if something major happens. So, but he was out of line at the scrum. The Elite's been out of line with him ever since. And, we pointed out on this show, Carry On My Wayward Son was such a subtle dig. It was such a screwed up thing to do, but it was funnier in hell. And it still is funnier in hell now.
That's why they need to make money with this, Jeff.
There's money on the table. They just need to sit down, freaking talk it out like grown folk and take the money and run with it, damn it.
Yep.
Again, I've been saying this every week for a year on Open Mic Night. It's not hard to book. It's just hard to finance. This is the easiest goddamn financing strategy in the history of wrestling. Just freaking do it.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, if you don't know, like, how he's going to be perceived, because during those 7 years when he was gone, people were getting sick of the CM Punk chants. You remember he started hearing that, like, shut up, he's never coming back. But yet when he came back, it was still a big deal and people loved him. So right now when I hear, he was out of line and this and that, and I'm talking the Buck fan, the Elite fans that really hate CM Punk. I'm really talking about them. Yeah, if he came back, they would still secretly be glued to their television sets because they're going to want to see their boys go over him, and that's money. And then you're going to bring in the people that like Punk that hate the other. Isn't that the business? Yeah. To draw fans from both ends of the spectrums?
Yep, exactly. There is no reason that everybody involved in this, even the suspended little whiny babies that got timed out for a while, should make serious coin on this. And then Tony can just sit back and go, yes.
Yeah, and I don't want to see him come back and just be delegated to a Saturday show against, like, why is he wrestling these guys? Like, now, it would be nice to see him come back with his the FTR. Are they, like, in a faction right now, or are they just kind of on their own? I know they've been doing...
They're on their own.
Right?
They're on their own for now.
We all know those guys are tight right now because of what we see on social media. Bring them back as a little faction. Now we really got turmoil. I mean, what happened with Bloodline and WWE? And that was all kayfabe stuff, and people fell for Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and now Cody Rhodes. Now you have real heat that you can use to your advantage, and you can get like two different teams, two sides to collide in various types of matches in a feud for months to come. I can't believe, like, I hope this is being worked out, because Tony Khan can impress me if he makes this happen. And you got the show coming up in England where you're doing a stadium. You need all the buzz and hype you can get.
I was going to say, everything that is like major buzz as far as AEW shows happens after SummerSlam. Other than Double or Nothing, which, is going to be one of their big shows because it always is. But, man, Tony can just let this Bloodline stuff simmer down, let Cody do his thing, get his story finished at the Garden with the title, and then go, okay, here we go. Let's go to work.
And here's the thing with CM Punk. I don't think he has a problem with putting people over if he knows it's right for business. So, he doesn't have to come back and win. I think him winning and being champion was to end up putting MJF over. It was all going the right way.
Yeah. I think that's the difference, though. I don't, and again, I haven't talked to either one of these guys in years. I don't know how Matt and Nick and Kenny would react. I don't know if they're the same mindset of Punk as, and again, we're assuming we don't interact with Punk on a regular, but I don't know if Matt and Nick, well, Kenny maybe. I don't know if Matt and Nick are willing to do the same thing. I think Matt and Nick are very much like the Shawn Michaels in the situation, and Punk's Bret Hart, like, I'll put you over for business, and Shawn's like, well, that's great. I'm not willing to do the same. I think Matt and Nick are in that same mindset because of how upset they were over this.
Yep. Now, someone in the chat said Punk lost to Moxley in 2 minutes. Well, didn't he beat him at the pay-per-view the next Sunday or whenever that was?
Yeah.
So, that was weird booking, why they decided to do that. But
Rocky.
Yeah.
They were trying to do Rocky, and CM Punk said,
but that, and that's the thing. If Punk was still not 100%, that angle, it would have made more sense if there was a longer period from that squash to the actual match, not just within that same week. And so that was like, I don't know. Now, again, Tony Khan, way to go. But all right, Aaron, over to you. I don't know if any super chats came in as well, but like CM Punk is money in terms of, especially for what AEW needs, right? We're not talking like carry a company like John Cena did for a decade, like Austin did in the Attitude Era. We're just talking about making it look like AEW is gaining momentum. Remember, you would always tell me, AEW is gaining momentum. You kind of stopped telling me that when Punk has been gone, right? Yeah. And I was kind of like knowing it was Punk, and at some point I was going to have to admit that, and then I didn't have the chance to. So, all right, Aaron, your turn.
Oh, Jeff, you got something to add?
Well, I was going to say, I have, up until Max became champion, I was finding a way to get in front of my TV on Wednesday and Friday nights. I don't sweat that right now. I don't.
All right, we got.
I will this week when you're gone.
Yes, Sean, we did read your super chat about the Usos earlier. We all think that they're going to win the titles. I mean, it is what it is. I hope I'm wrong, though.
Saudi booking is what it is, kids.
Yep. Walter, he wanted me to make sure that I corrected his typo because Walter Cruz is known for his typos, and there's always at least one. He says, with $5, thank you, Walter. He says, I'm all for Punk coming back. You guys know I love Punk. I just hope Khan has the balls to make a great story out of what happened. Don't run from it. So thank you for that, Walter. You had two typos in that one.
Even if at the very least, if we can't get the money match with the Elite stuff, at the very least, let him work that program with the championship involved with MJF. I know they had their match before, but at least let him put MJF over as the champion. If that's the very least, I would still be all right, you got something out of that. But I don't know.
All right, let's see here. We got another super chat from Psycho Jet Black. He says, Big G's dream match is CM Punk versus Jeff Jarrett.
Probably is.
Hey, I would be up for that. You know what? On paper, there are a lot of money matches with CM Punk. From a business sense, if they can get him back and he's willing to come back, everybody is in a good position to make some serious money. CM Punk versus the Elite. We can do a 6-man tag team match with FTR teaming up with CM Punk. We can do CM Punk versus Kenny Omega in a singles match. They could do that at Wembley. They could do that at All Out in Chicago. That's going to be money. Virtue, we talked about this for months, having CM Punk versus Kenny Omega. That is a dream match, a legitimate dream match that I think people would spend money on to see.
I'd buy that pay-per-view for $50.
There you go. You've heard it from Virtue. He would buy that pay-per-view for $50. And CM Punk versus Chris Jericho. There's this heat between them, but you know what? They have the history going back to WWE. That's a match to do. And CM Punk versus MJF, the world title match we never got. They had a great feud in 2022, but we never got to see them go at it for the championship. And even Bryan Danielson versus CM Punk is a match we haven't seen in AEW. Adam Cole versus CM Punk. There's 6 matches right there they can do with CM Punk. Now, City by the Bay has been very negative on CM Punk in the chat room. And you know what?
Normally pro Virtue stuff too. That's weird.
It's a fair argument to say, can CM Punk even physically do it anymore? He got injured twice in the span of 1 year. Like, can he come back and do these matches without getting hurt? That's a big question.
Well, do you think the one injury, though, would have happened if he never did the little jump over into the fans?
I was going to say, yeah.
That was a little freakish.
Well, but I think he went into that walking down the ramp already being hurt with Hangman the previous weekend. So, stage diving wasn't exactly the brightest thing to do with an already existing injury, which, whatever. But, yeah, I don't think he would have been near as hurt had he not done the stage dive.
What about Ring of Honor CM Punk? Is Tony going to send him there?
Okay, a couple things. First of all, no to Ring of Honor. If he comes back, he should be on Dynamite and Rampage. Yeah. And I'm not a huge fan of doing this third show, especially when they already have Ring of Honor.
Right.
Like, it's just too much. That's an issue. And this whole idea of a soft roster split, I agree with Virtue. I think that everybody needs to work together. It's a business.
Yep.
Talk it out. Have your meeting. Apparently, they're doing a meeting with CM Punk, Chris Jericho, Tony Khan. do the meeting and get everybody on the same page and make some money, like adults, like professionals.
Here's how I'll be somewhat okay with if they do it their show. Get rid of Dark and Dark Elevation completely. Yes. Ring of Honor, yeah, Tony Khan owns it, but it's its own, I guess, entity if you want. But yeah, then and then maybe get rid of Rampage.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%.
Because now you're turning into WWE with all these shows. It's you want to put your product out there, but you can't. I don't know. It's just all like.
Yeah, you're completely right. I agree 100% with you. I think they should.
Too much wrestling. I gave up on Ring of Honor, Jeff, because there's just too much wrestling.
No, I agree. Virtue. You are, and most of the time I agree with you about the positives of Vince Russo. What was the thing that everybody says really turned his head and turned the corner of going into the insanity world? Having to do too much in the WWF because they added SmackDown without asking.
Oh, yeah.
And he got burnt out. He was done. And when he went to WCW, he was already still smoldering from being burnt out at WWF, and WCW just kind of did what it did. So now they've got 2 shows on regular television, 2 shows on YouTube, quarterly pay-per-views, all these special episodes. Tony's going to book
Tony Khan does it all.
Sanitarium.
Right. He does it all. And he's supposed to be in charge of a football team, a soccer team.
Well. To be fair, he's not running the Jaguars. That's still his old man and the GM and whoever it is. But
he says he helps make draft pick decisions and all that stuff.
Well, of course he does because he's crazy.
And their playoff team now. Oh, go Tony.
Well, yeah, that's fair. Good point.
Don't forget All Access now too. My God.
Yeah, they're doing this All Access. Yeah, which they're having cameras behind the scenes for that too. He's gonna book himself into a damn sanitarium.
And then I think you said the specials battle.
I think Big G said it best. Get rid of Rampage. Make sure that this new show, Collision or whatever they're calling it, is live every week, 2 hours. With the equal star power as Dynamite, none of this
thunder shit
like Ricky Starks versus
don't shit on Starks.
Or what was that?
Don't shit on Starks. I like Starks.
Well, I'm just saying like a mid-level AEW guy versus like a bottom AEW guy, like John Silver versus Mike Bennett or something like that. Like none of that shit. Get rid of that. And do the marquee matches on this second show, and no soft.
What really grinds my gears, Jeff, is how when I was watching Ring of Honor, they were kind of intertwining Ring of Honor and AEW storylines together a little bit.
Yeah, it's one of those. I am happy that somebody thought enough of the value of Ring of Honor to keep it going. But keep it separate. Let the Honor Club carry Ring of Honor. Let the social medias carry the promotion for Honor Club, and just stay out of it, man. It's and again, you're gonna have some cross promotion because they've got the Ring of Honor World Champion in a major storyline with the Elite now because of the Combat Club. But not this constant crossover. That's just ridiculous.
All right, we do have some super chats here. Darren G with a $2 super chat says, should CM Punk come back as a heel? Only if MJF goes face, which I've been wanting to see for a while now. That have CM Punk legitimately be the asshole who's toxic to the locker room, and then MJF has to be the one to get rid of him and get rid of the cancer. I think you could do that. What Jeff?
I don't want to see Max as a baby face. Absolutely not.
Crowd is cheering him.
A baby face. Listen, Jeff, a baby face run, but with Edge, where he kind of steps back from that prick stuff, where he flicks kids off in photos and stuff, just for a little while, because he could come back to that anytime he wants.
Yeah.
But contingent on if they know they can make a hell of a lot of money out of it, right? Don't even sniff babyface MJF with an Edge unless they know they can get a shit ton of money out of it.
As long as they don't go full John Cena.
Yeah.
Where
it
spouting.
It has to be Stone Cold, like the Stone Cold 97, 98. It had to be like that.
Yep. Yeah,
MJF needs to evolve. The whole going out there and ripping into the local city and using profanity and throwing water at kids, like it's kind of played out. I think we need to see some evolution with Max's character.
I mean, people like Max is a heel for like. Was Piper a heel his whole career?
No.
The best heel in the business of history became a babyface. Okay,
correct. And he never lost his cool factor. Piper can go out there as a babyface and still have the cool factor.
No,
like MJF Hogan turn into
because some fans like.
Sorry,
go ahead.
I would say the biggest baby face in the 80s, and people were ready to boo him. So when he turned, they were like, all right. And he was so much more effective as a bad guy because it was like, all right, well, if we're allowed to hate him, then the hell with it. It was
people liked it. They liked the bad guys.
It can be done properly, but yeah, don't have him lose any of that edge. He's got to stay MJF.
Yeah. Yes, and Ryan sent a comment, said, I get sick of stuff too soon, with all due respect. The thing is, these guys are on television every year. MJF is a 4-year-old television character now. AEW started in 2019. He's been around doing this shtick every week, 52 weeks a year for 4 years.
He's even been a heel on the indies. When he was down in MCW when he wrestled, he was a heel too.
Yeah, you're telling me 4 years is too soon? 4 years.
If he became a baby face and he got fans like to treat him like that, and his merch sales went up even more, when it was time to turn heel again, he could say, "You idiots! I put that show on for you for 2 years to be the biggest, as you would say, baby face in the company, and I didn't mean a thing of it." Dude, he could become such a better heel by being a baby face for a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I'm entertained by MJF, but I think they missed the boat on him. And if CM Punk goes heel, I think that would be a great opportunity to do that with them and have MJF be the guy that takes out CM Punk if CM Punk is going away.
Like I pointed out, 4 years on televised wrestling, people age so much quicker when they're in the public eye every single week. So.
Yeah, and part of the longevity is evolving. The Undertaker changed it up. Kane changed it up. Triple H changed it up. Like all these guys, The Rock even, The Rock would evolve into the Hollywood version of Rock. He would not do the same shtick. Jericho. I mean, how many times has Jericho reinvented himself over the years and not rely on the same gimmick and routine? He changed it up. And I think you got to see that with MJF at some point. Only so long he can go out there with the scarf and using the profanity and ripping into the local fans and the sports teams and all that stuff.
See, there's two things I'm looking forward to if they happen in AEW. Punk coming back and MJF turning what we could at least say babyface. So I can just stick it to be like that. See, I'm interested. There's things that I'm intrigued about. If Tony Khan pulls this off, he's going to win me over. Now, and it's just me, so it doesn't matter. But I know there are a lot of other people like WWE more centric fans that might be interested in AEW if stuff like that is pulled off.
Yep. We do have some more super chats here. Psycho Jet Black says, how to deal with the elephant in the room, Colt Cabana. I mean, does anybody really care about Colt Cabana?
He's in Ring of Honor. Oh, yeah. So scrap the whole Ring of Honor joke I made earlier. Never mind.
Yeah. I mean, they got Ring of Honor. He's there. He's got a job. So, I mean, yeah, CM Punk should just be like, whatever. And, hopefully this will be the last of CM Punk going out there and saying things that are breaking the fourth wall and not intended
unless it's scripted and meant to be that way. Yes.
Right. Like calling out Adam Page for a match when Adam Page is not in the storyline with him. Like, he's got to not do that stuff anymore. So, that's something CM Punk needs to work on. Ryan sent in a $1 super chat. Thank you for that, Ryan. Much appreciated. And Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says, people care more about feelings than making money. And it's about egos too, right, Jeff?
It's one of those, it's the wrestling business. It's not the wrestling playtime at the McDonald's play place, y'all. Like seriously though. Yeah, like right. if you're in the wrestling business, actually in the business for anything besides the business, then good for you. You have a passion for it. But if you're not worried about making money, then like good for you, I reckon. But
and you know what? Here's the thing about Punk, Jeff. And I know there was other wrestlers before him that we could pinpoint, but he really, the 2011 run that he had, and you saw glimpses of it with the Straight Edge Society, you know, the Nexus stuff leading into that day. He really opened up the world, the wrestling business for indie wrestlers to get more recognized. Yes. I can't think of another, and I could be a detriment, right? As Tito would say, well, there went the big WrestleMania main eventers. But he really, like, the people that, like, the elite should be thanking CM Punk anyway.
Yeah. If CM Punk doesn't have that run he has in 2011, the appeal of All In doesn't happen, and AEW doesn't happen, period.
Speaking of All In, Matt Phillips Reviews sent in a $5 super chat, says, sorry if this has been addressed already, but could Cody show up at All In? People know who he is, and I feel it would bring more attention to WWE.
No way.
Jeff, I would say there's almost 0% chance of that.
Negative percent.
Yeah, no way.
If Cody was in AEW, or if Cody was a free agent and just was in the crowd trying to cause a buzz, fine. He'll be the WWE champion by All In. There's no way he's showing up at Wembley Stadium.
I mean, you're thinking of like when Christian showed up on the Impact show after he returned to WWE.
Right.
Like Christian, first of all, was, you know, more of a mid-card level guy. Cody's basically their top baby face. So yeah.
And that was also a trade to have Flair at the Hall of Fame. We all saw how well that played out. Thanks to lawsuits and shit. So yeah, there's no way. If Cody shows up at Wembley Stadium, I will eat a hat on the air. I will physically eat one of my hats on the air if Cody shows up at All In.
Yeah. You're not going to have to eat a hat.
Okay. Well, I will if it happens.
And City by the Bay sent in $2, said, does CM Punk need to be in the world title picture?
No.
Just to have a match against MJF, but lose.
Yeah, okay. I agree. I agree. He doesn't need to be in the title picture, but I think there should be a title match, at least one, CM Punk versus MJF. We got a few more here. Psycho Jet Black says, this will never happen, but imagine CM Punk and FTR versus the Elite on pay-per-view, and Colt Cabana comes out and screws over the Elite, hugs CM Punk, and joins
dude, that would be like, I mean, that would be great. Like, because remember, Punk and Cabana are always synonymous as really good buddies. Dude, if you could get them to pull something like that off, that would be great. But never going to.
Yeah, if the feelings weren't so real and everybody wasn't such in a pissing contest with each other, that would be great. But
that's a Vince Russo swerve, baby.
Totally a Vince Russo
swerve. I mean, I don't care about the Colt Cabana stuff. I think that's catering to the diehards. Like, I don't think anybody outside of your core audience gives a damn about Colt Cabana.
That's AEW's audience, Aaron.
Exactly.
Anyway.
I mean, it would be interesting for the diehards, that's for sure. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Speaking of Vince Russo, should Tony Khan hire Vince Russo? What do you think?
Because Vince would be miserable working there, so I wouldn't want to see. And then he would slow down his entertaining podcasts where he makes fun of, Fightful guys, right, bombing his DMs and stuff like that. So I would never want that to happen because Russo entertains me with his podcasts and what he does now, and he's happy staying retired.
Well, there you go. Yeah. If they're going to hire anybody that used to work for WWE, hire Jim Johnston for the music. Yeah. How about that?
Right?
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, I would like to see that. All right. Hap Connell sent in a $5 super chat, and he says, per Vince Russo, he left because he went to Vince about adding another show, and Vince replied, I pay you enough money to get your kids a babysitter.
That was straight up Vince McMahon at his most not giving a shit.
If Vince McMahon did not say that line, Vince Russo might have stuck it out. And just imagine what we wouldn't have had WCW 2000. God, so many different things would have happened and not happened.
Well, but you remember, even before September 99, when Bischoff got sent home, they were already in a maybe not nosedive, but definitely in a tailspin at that point. So,
all right. We got one more here from Psycho Jet Black. He says, here's an idea. It's MJF versus Wardlow for the world title. CM Punk screws over MJF, double turn where Max is a face and Wardlow is a monster heel.
Anything to get Wardlow.
I'm fine
with Wardlow going over. I don't care how.
That's awesome. I like that.
I want their version of a Roman Reigns type thing. And I'm not saying Wardlow can be that, but I want an attempt.
Yeah, they need to do something with Wardlow, but yeah, I think that's a perfectly fine idea. Like, he is damaged goods as far as I'm concerned, but I think that they could still salvage him with the right storyline.
They are doing some Wardlow. He's facing the TNT champion this week.
All right, so he wins the title, which means they hot potatoed the title yet again, and if he loses, well, he loses again. So it's like,
exactly.
What are they doing here? And Mr. Tito sent in a $2 super chat, says wrestling theme music sucks lately, needs to improve.
He's 100% right.
No disagreements.
Me,
there's
new,
some out there. There are
the
some
Roman Reigns bloodline theme, the Roman Reigns theme. That's the only catchy wrestling theme that's relatively new the last couple of years that I can think that I.
Seth Rollins.
I still.
Seth's
okay.
It's
like a Fandango thing, it's okay.
Seth is good when they do something like, except like just play music like WrestleMania. That was funnier than hell. It actually came off better live than it did watching it back. It was kind of.
I actually enjoyed, like, before the current Seth Rollins theme. What was the one that was like harder? It was like, like, I can't remember. You know which one I'm talking about, Jeff?
Yeah.
It was like Burn It Down. That I like that Seth Rollins.
He has Burn It Down in all of his themes.
But
there was an instrumental, like just a hard instrumental, whatever that one was of his.
CFOs.
Cashed in money.
CFOs, yeah, because that one I heard at basketball games, and I'd hear him play it like that. I like that one.
But yeah, Roman Reigns is like a final boss in a video game. It's epic. I love it.
Yeah, they got a couple decent ones. And City by the Bay mentioned that they dropped the ball with Britt Baker. Yeah, I mean, she's basically the lackey for Jamie Hayter. It hasn't really done
at
much
this
of anything.
point. Doesn't mean she won't turn and cause a big moment, because Britt needs a big moment right now.
What are they waiting for?
I wouldn't be surprised if she does it in Pittsburgh.
I was gonna say they're in Pittsburgh this week. I bet it may happen there. She's in a tag match with Jamie against Saraya and her buddies. So
there you go. Everybody remember that comment from Big G. We'll see if it plays out like
Pittsburgh this week. So it'd be a hell of a way to get a pop out of the heel turn.
All right. So CM Punk apparently is coming back, and I'm sure we'll talk about it more in the coming weeks.
All right. Well, it's time. Let's go around and do our plugs, and maybe we'll get out of here. I don't know. Maybe it'll be NoDQ After Dark, but another great show. We didn't really even have to talk about Roman Reigns or the Bloodline. See, we can do it once in a while.
Really, yeah.
It may hurt our aftermarket numbers, but that's okay. Big G, go ahead and do your plugs.
Aaron, if you want to throw that lovely thing, yep. So they're on the far right.
Yeah.
Twitter handles, thanks to Jeff Meacham. And then on the left is Celeb Fest 7 coming up May 21st. It'll be the 1-year anniversary of Parker Kane Promotions. Hacksaw Jim Duggan's going to be there. We already have 9 pre-sales of Hacksaw with all the things there. He's going to be signing 2x4s. We have former NXT UK superstar Myla Grace and Danny Jordan. I believe she's been wrestling in AEW for a while. And then in August, Wrestle Bash 2 will have Kylan King there and Ashley D'Ambois as well. So that'll be fun. These conventions are awesome. Jeff, I messaged you yesterday. Rob's going to be at Celeb Fest as well.
Yes. Not with you guys, unfortunately, but yeah, he'll be there.
Not with us, unfortunately. Yep.
He'll be there, though.
Robbie Vice?
No, Robin, damn.
He's going to be coming back soon, one of these days, to the
full names, guys.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway,
all right, Big G.
Aaron, thanks for being on. Let him be.
Thanks for being on, as always. Over to you, Jeff Meacham.
Real simple. Just go to these YouTube channels. You can watch our watch-alongs each and every time they do one for Impact, AEW, WWE, and you can catch all the content on those channels. You can't see the YouTube handles because Aaron's got the graphic going across it, but that's okay. At Jeff Meacham, at Constantine Studios, at NFoster1916, at J Hebert Side. There, thank you, Aaron. J Hebert Side 95. Those are the YouTube channels contained in the multiverse of media, and we are very happy, as always, to be partnered with NoDQ for Talk Wrestling on Tuesdays and whatever else Aaron lets me feature on the channel. It's always appreciated. So thank you all for subscribing to those channels and staying with NoDQ for, God, where are we at, Aaron? 21 years this year?
Yeah.
Crazy shit.
It's been a long time, and it's the 25-year anniversary coming up.
Yeah, this November, that's true, on your birthday.
And I can't believe it's like been 6.5 years since I've been part of NoDQ, starting by writing columns. Like, it just seems like yesterday.
It's been about
that's not really that long of a time, but yeah.
Well, I mean, I saw with Aaron just writing their arena reports when they were here in SoCal in 2000, 2001, and Summer Vote 2, I get an email. Hey, crazy.
All right, Aaron. Over to you.
Apparently, I missed a super chat from Psycho Jet Black, but I'm trying to look for it here. I did not see it. He sent in like 20 of them, so I.
Yeah, he mentioned earlier in the comments that we missed a Mickey Mouse super chat. I didn't even see it pop up myself, and you know me and Mickey Mouse. I'll just see that.
Psycho, I don't think it popped up. I don't even remember seeing it. So it must
I don't think it went through, Psycho.
Oh, wait a minute. Here it is. I did find it.
Mickey
Mouse should pay double of what Jeff makes.
Mickey Mouse should pay double of what Jeff
makes. I think I agree with that. If I was doing more than freaking food and beverage stewarding, but it is what it is. Yeah, I appreciate that, Psycho. I really do. Thank you.
I mean, you guys get your perks, so they treat you pretty well.
Hey, like I said, I didn't hire in for the free admission, but it's a lovely perk.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys. So I got a couple videos coming up pretty soon. The end of the month, I'm going to be doing tier lists. I don't know if you guys are familiar with tier lists. That's why I mentioned it earlier. The S tier to D tier. I did one for SummerSlam and WrestleMania. Those will be going up at the end of the month, so stay tuned for that. And this Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, we are going to be doing the first time ever on the channel, a live tournament where we will be crowning the greatest WrestleMania match of all time. We're going to be voting on WrestleMania matches, and there will be a greatest match of all time crowned. That will be Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And no Psycho Jet Black, no star ratings. That's somebody else's routine. I just do the letter grades. So that's it. Thursday. Big G will be there for that. And he's doing his homework. He's rewatching his WrestleMania matches, and should be a fun one. All right, that's all I got. Thanks, everybody. Virtue, let's go ahead and wrap it up.
Follow me on Twitter if you dare at NoDQ_Virtue. And I requested this to be my plug picture, just in case nobody super chatted it, but they did. So we got to see it twice. This is a classic picture. But that is it. You can go to NoDQ.com/merch and check out all the NoDQ merch, and all the Virtue shirts are on there as well. This is it. This has been episode number 233 of the NoDQ review. For Aaron Rift, for Big G, for Jeff Meacham, and a shout out to the whole crew like Robbie Weiss, Colin the Cleaver, Andrew, Jargo, etc. Big Vito. We'll get them all back on here another day, another time. NoDQ Galaxy, thank you for watching and listening. Good night, everybody.
All right, Jeff. Happy birthday to Dylan Folk. Go ahead, Jeff. Sing.
Happy birthday, guys. We'll see you on the Rebellion watch along. Thank y'all.
No singing from Jeff. Aw.
Happy birthday to him. Happy birthday to him. I am a horrible singer, but happy birthday to him.
And many more.
And many more. Yes, please, many more.
Take care, guys. See you next time.
Good night, everybody.